There is a before and an after. The before is a memory I keep in a locked room in my mind. A company retreat, a hotel bar, a man named David from the finance department who offered to walk me to my room. The after is the positive pregnancy test 6 weeks later, a result not of love, but of violence, held in a hand that wouldn't stop shaking. The 2 lines meant I had survived one horror, only to be trapped by another. Termination was my first thought. My only thought. But in the cold, sterile consultation room, something in me rebelled. This cluster of cells inside me was an innocent. It was also a predator's biological signature. The conflict was a war that raged in silence. I told no one. I quit my job. I moved across the city. I disconnected. I decided I would carry the pregnancy. I would give the baby up for adoption to a family far away and try to rebuild my life around the crater this had left. My pregnancy was a solitary journey. I saw a therapist. I practiced yoga. I spoke to my growing belly, not with the dreams of a mother, but with the apologies of a survivor. I'm so sorry this is how you came to be. You will be so loved, just not by me. I worked with a closed, private adoption agency. I selected a family from another state, a kind-eyed couple who'd been waiting years. It was a plan. A painful, necessary plan. Then the letter arrived. Handwritten on expensive stationery. The return address made my blood freeze. It was from a suburb known for its grand homes. The name on the envelope, Eleanor Vance. David's wife. I knew because I'd secretly looked him up in the company directory all those months ago, searing his life into my memory as a form of tortuous penance. Her letter was gracious, heartbreaking. She wrote of her and her husband's long, painful struggle with infertility. She wrote that she'd heard through an old colleague that I was pregnant and planning an adoption. She didn't mention David by name, just my husband. She said they longed to be parents, that they could offer a child every advantage, a life of love and stability. She asked if I would consider them. She included a photo. They were standing in front of a beautiful garden, his arm around her, both of them smiling. David's smile, the same one he'd given me before he followed me into my hotel room. I threw up. The layers of the horror were almost artistic. He didn't know it was me. He couldn't. I'd quit immediately, changed my number. My social media was deleted. But she had found me. Had he put her up to this? Did he somehow know this was his child, and this was his monstrous way of claiming it? Or was this a sick, cosmic joke? The universe offering me a way to do the right thing by giving my rapist's child to my rapist and his unsuspecting wife. The rage that followed was a quiet, tectonic shift. It wasn't hot. It was the slow, inevitable movement of continents. It was a resolve that hardened into diamond. He would not win. He would not have this child. He would not get to play father to the living proof of his crime while his wife thanked him for his support. I did not respond to Eleanor's letter. Instead, I began the most important performance of my life. I hired a gentle, brilliant lawyer who specialized in reproductive law and trauma. I told her everything. We crafted a strategy not of confrontation, but of exquisite, legal entrapment. I had my lawyer reach out to Eleanor. We expressed cautious interest. We set up a mediated meeting, via Zoom, with my camera off. I listened. Eleanor was eloquent, kind, desperate. David was beside her, the perfect, supportive husband. He spoke of his desire to be a father, of the nursery they'd prepared. He didn't recognize my voice, disguised and filtered through my lawyer's speakerphone. My skin crawled. Through my lawyer, I laid out my terms. I wanted a closed adoption, but with a unique condition. Given the sensitive nature, I required full, independent legal and psychological vetting of both prospective parents. This was non-negotiable. I also required a substantial support and expenses fund held in escrow to ensure my well-being during the remainder of the pregnancy. They agreed eagerly. They were so close to their dream. The vetting process was our weapon. My lawyer hired the most thorough private investigator on retainer. While the adoption agency did their checks, our pie dug. We weren't looking for financial instability. We were looking for him. We needed a pattern, a history. And we found it. 2 other women from his past, from his college years and a previous job, who had similar, blurred stories of bad dates that turned non-consensual. They'd never reported it. But they agreed, with protection and anonymity, to speak to a psychologist as part of a pattern assessment for the adoption. The psychological evaluation was the masterstroke. We found a specialist who assessed adoptive parents for unresolved trauma or harmful patterns. David, arrogant and believing this was a mere formality, agreed. During the sessions, the psychologist, guided by our anonymous tips, asked subtle, probing questions about his views on consent, boundaries, and past relationships. His answers were a tapestry of red flags minimization, victim-blaming language, a clear pattern of coercive behavior. The psychologist's final report to the adoption agency was devastating. It stated that, in her professional opinion, David Vance exhibited a pattern of behavior and attitudes that posed a potential risk to the well-being of a child, particularly in modeling healthy relationships and respect for autonomy. She recommended against the adoption. The agency, bound by ethics and liability, rejected their application. Eleanor was devastated. David was furious, screaming about a biased shrink. They demanded to know why. The agency, citing confidentiality, would only say the psychological assessment was not favorable. Here was my revenge's quiet crescendo. After the rejection, my lawyer sent a final, formal letter to Eleanor Vance alone. It was delivered by courier to her home. It read, "Dear Mrs. Vance, you sought to adopt a child from a survivor. The child I carry is a result of sexual assault. The man whose psychological evaluation disqualified your application is the man who assaulted me. His name is David Vance. He is your husband. He is this child's biological father. I am truly sorry for the pain this will cause you. You deserved the truth he stole from both of us. The adoption is closed. Do not contact me again. Sincerely, the birth mother." I included no proof. She didn't need it. The pieces would now fit together for her with horrifying clarity: his insistence on this specific adoption, the failed psych-eval, the timeline. I learned through my pie that Eleanor confronted David. He denied it, of course. But the seed of truth, planted so specifically, grew into a weed that choked their marriage. She left him. She filed for divorce. The beautiful garden in the photo is now just her garden. I gave birth to a baby girl. I named her Grace. I looked into her perfect face, and I did not see him. I saw life. Raw, innocent, resilient life. And in that moment, the locked room in my mind opened just a crack. I did not give her up. The couple from out of state understood when I called, weeping, and said I couldn't go through with it. They sent me a gift for the baby. I am raising Grace. With the support fund from the escrow account money David helped provide in his eagerness to get my child, I was able to take a full year of maternity leave. I am healing in a way I never thought possible through the fierce, all-consuming love I have for my daughter. She is my reclamation. My revenge was not violence. It was truth. I used his own desire to possess the fruit of his violence to fund our escape from him. I used the systems meant to protect children to expose the predator hiding behind a picket fence. I gave his wife the key to her own prison. He is now a divorced man, his reputation in his community quietly stained. He will never know his daughter. He will live with the knowledge that his attempt to control the narrative of his life led directly to its unraveling. And I will live with my daughter Grace in a peace I forged from the aftermath of his war. He tried to make me a vessel for his violence. Instead, I became the architect of his downfall and the mother of my own salvation. Some justice is loud. Mine was a quiet letter, a psychological report, and the sound of my daughter's breath as she sleeps, safe, in a home he will never find.